It's Adam C. Brooks here.
Let's face it, the regular media is a joke. It didn't used to be that way. It used to be contained by people that got the facts before they reported it. Well, we are bringing that back. This is the Brooks Report Live. We are the true voice of Southeast Texas. Breaking news, weather, traffic alerts, events, Q&As. If it's happening in Southeast Texas, we are there. This is the Brooks Report Live. And now your host, Adam C. Brooks.
Hey guys, thank you for joining us here on the Brooks Report Live. I am your host, Adam Brooks. If you would, put a 1 in the comments if you're watching us live, put a 2 if you're watching the recorded version, and like always, let us know what city you're watching us from. Please be sure and share this broadcast. Invite your friends, tag a few friends in the comment section if you will. Help us grow here on the Brooks Report Live, and stay tuned for the show. Thank you guys for joining us.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me here on the Brooks Report Live. I am your host, Adam Brooks. Now, please let me know in the comments if you can hear me. I really would appreciate that. I've got a new system here, and I just want to make sure you guys can hear me before we get too far into this thing. But thanks for joining me. TGIF, thank goodness it's Friday on this Friday afternoon. And, I wanted to come to you guys, and I'm just going to let you know right up front. I'm going to offer a disclaimer that this is going to be a very nonchalant, impromptu conversation, a conversation to be had between you guys and myself. And what I want to do here is I'm not going to rush, and I'm not going to talk fast. I'm not going to seem like I'm in a hurry or anxious. I just want to talk this out a little bit. And if anybody, I don't care who you are, if anybody wants to join me and talk about this or discuss this with me, I welcome you. I welcome you to say, hey, Adam, I want to go live with you, because I have the option and the ability to send you a link, and you can come on screen with me, and we can talk and we can chat. And as you guys know, and I put it in the headline, I really wanted to talk about this Lumberton ISD decision to stop, kind of lock down the campus there, the stadium and that sort of thing, so that folks can't just kind of come in. We've done it for years. We've ran the track, ran the bleachers. We have taken photographs out there. We've used it as props and that sort of thing. And that's changing. As our city grows and management changes, we will have changes. But I guess what I really wanted to do with going live is kind of set the record straight with, who's responsible and who's not responsible for those decisions, and also kind of shed some light on, there's other alternatives to that. And I know that it's in the heat of this thing. I know there are people that are completely upset about it. There's no way about it. I mean, and it sucks. I know that's not proper, but change sucks. It's like the delineators in the road, those yellow things. I still hate them. That hasn't changed for me. I don't like them. They need to go. Okay. They annoy me. Okay. I don't know why everybody hasn't taken them out yet. I'm not going to do it, but you guys should. No, that did not come from me. Don't sue me for that. Okay. But, and I'm going to get to your comments. So please leave your comments, because I'm going to be reading a lot of those off. But so the main part of what I'm hearing on the groups all about Lumberton. We all know Zia Lumberton, Texas Talks, and then just personal pages. I think some of the anger or the uh, disappointment. I think disappointment is a better word than anger. And so I'll go that route. Please let me know if you guys can hear me. But you know, let's chat about this. First, I want to get to why what we're talking about. Okay. So let me add this and I'm just gonna I want to read this to you guys. Like I said, uh I'm gonna be as nonchalant as possible here with you guys. I want to read this thing and I'm not gonna rush it. And forgive me because I have just came out of mouth surgery a couple of days ago and I still talk funny. So and I want to make sure that you guys understand that disclaimer is I talk a little funny and slur a little bit. So anyway, so here's what it says. It says the finishing touches are being put on Raider Stadium, and LISD is excited to have a brand new turf field and a new track for our students to start the school year. In order to protect the integrity of the newly renovated Raider Stadium, it is closed to the public due to the cost of the repair and damage that has occurred over previous years. And as a security precaution, LISD understands the importance of memorable moments captured at the stadium and has made the stadium available for personal photography purposes on designated dates. Okay, so that's the majority of what we're talking about and we're discussing. And then they also provided a link as well that says, hey, um, here's the guideline and criteria for that. And I actually have that, and we'll pull that up and talk more about that. But in a nutshell, let me go with the nutshell assumption just for the sake of explaining. And so, again, this is, I want to get to where this decision came from, first of all, okay? Because I see on groups, and I read a lot of the comments. I didn't, I made one comment, and I probably shouldn't have even done that. But the comments, people are saying, well, there needs to be a change at our school board level. Okay. Let me tell you, this was not a school board decision. Okay. This was a decision made by the admin. And the head of the admin is the superintendent, which is he's our new superintendent, Dr. Matthews. And Dr. Matthews has made this decision, but he has made the decision. Dr. John Matthews is his name if you haven't met him yet or knew that since Dr. Tipton retired. But Dr. John Matthews made that call because of some wear and tear that was happening to protect the investment of the stadium because it's a very expensive stadium that the taxpayers help fund. Not all of it. They didn't fund all of it, but they helped fund it. And some other reasons. That was his reason. That's not my reason. That's not Adam Brooks saying this is his reason. Those are his reasons. Okay. So don't start barking up my tree. I'm telling you the perception of everybody here. Okay. And we're going to go through them. And I don't see a lot of comments right now about how you're feeling about this and what your points of view, or if you even care, because I'm not seeing a lot of likes. I'm not seeing a lot of comments about it. So maybe I've overthought this. Maybe you guys could care less. Maybe you just wanted to say your piece on Facebook and then move on. But what I will tell you is when you start calling for good people that have dedicated some time and servitude on a board type situation and calling for their head, basically, that's not the proper term, but calling for them to vote them out and that sort of thing when they had nothing to do with that decision. I feel like somebody needs to speak up and say, hey, it wasn't them, and so, and we do have a comment right now, and I'm just going to get to it. And it's from Crystal Iron Jones. Says, I personally think it's ridiculous, nor is it fair. And again, I understand your point of view. I really do. And that's kind of why we're having this discussion. But, you know, I understand why the decision was made from a security standpoint, trying to protect the investment, yada, yada, yada. Do I think that can be altered a little bit? Do I think it was a little too extreme, especially with the charging of however much it was? I want to say it was about $100 an hour for those 3 days that you can call and schedule. And I know people have already done because there's a lot of people that can, that's no problem for them. They can do that. However, there are people in this community that $100 is a lot of money. And that takes me back to what about a single parent that doesn't have a lot? Maybe they have one child and it's the first person that's graduated and they want to show their school spirit and they're proud of little Johnny or little Susie, and they're getting to graduate and go to college, and they spent their whole life at as a Lumberton Raider, and they want to showcase that, and they want that prop. They want that prop to be in that stadium with that background because it's beautiful. One, it's a beautiful thing. And adding $100 to go out there and with their phone and take a few pictures that'll take about 15, 20 minutes, it doesn't seem right. Okay. Doesn't seem right to me. However, we know the old saying, uh, a few people can mess up a good thing, right? And it was because of a few people bringing their animals and their pets out there and letting them, letting their feces and not, not letting them. I mean, I'm not trying to be crude here, but it's the fact of the matter. You're going to let your pets run around and just, do their business everywhere and then not pick it up, you know, and that's going to screw it up for a lot of people. You're going to have a few people that want to bring things and, scratch and tear up turf and that sort of thing that's very expensive to repair. And that's going to screw it up for the majority. Okay. And so, I, I understand why the decision was made. Do I think it was extreme? Absolutely. Do I think if they are going to allow, if they are going to be proud of these athletic groups, and I'm talking from an athletic standpoint, that's where you get kind of your from as a school district is your athletic programs, your football, your cheerleading, your baseball, softball, volleyball, basketball, on and on and on, band. All those programs, okay, they are an attraction for our district. And if you don't even allow those guys to go out and take photos as a photo op and prep, and then you want to say, hey, you want to buy an ad for your student and the program, a paper program at that, I mean, I don't know who does paper programs anymore, but it's a way for the school to make money, revenue. But you can't even go out there now as a cheerleader or a football player, baseball player, whatever, take your photo op to place that ad into that program. And so, that's kind of weird, without paying that money, that extra money, and then and then um and then hopefully you have a slot because 3 days is not a lot for a town as big as ours. So, I think they could adjust that even if they did stick with only allowing it for 3 days, then why not make it free? I know they're gonna send a monitor or 2 out there, I get it, but, um, I don't know. I could be wrong. Not everybody understands school financing, right? And I get that. I'm still learning myself, and I've sat through hours and hours of board meetings and lectures about it, and it's way above my head, but I'm not the brightest color in the box anyway. So, let me get to some of these comments. Chip McManus, as a taxpayer, it infuriates me. if the stadium is closed to the public, then refund my portion of my taxes. Well, I wish I was smart enough to say that all your taxes went to that stadium, but I really don't think they do, Chip. If that helps the blow a little bit, I hope it does. But you know, uh, the way funding works for a district, and that's something we might start doing. We'll bring in people that really understand funding. There are people on our school board that understand those things, and maybe they'll grace us with an interview or two about things like that to help understand how these funds are operated and where you can pull money from and what money goes to what and how it can work, because I know there's rules and regulations for those things, but maybe we can get some of those people on the board like uh, James Kirsch, Miss Spears, Sharon Spears, Kimberly Alexa, Kenny Burkhalter, Yarbrough, all these folks, and I know I missed one or two, Lauren, yeah, and I'm not trying to miss anybody, but I'm just saying maybe with some understanding, maybe some of this will help with the blow a little bit. So let's get to some more of these. Um, Dina says, "What are we talking about?" Well, we're talking about the decision for them to close the stadium, Lumberton Raider Stadium, to the public, and so that has really, in for lack of better terms, ruffled some feathers here in our little community. So Jerry says, "I agree." Mandy says restrictions on the stadium. Yes, and just so we're clear, Mandy, I'm glad you said that, because just so we're clear, we're not the only community that does that. PNG does it. Silsby's done it. I believe Warren has done it. And there's multiple. There's really multiple. So it's not a new concept. What's new about it is it's new for us, and the fact that, well, now we're faced with having to pay for something on certain days that we're not used to. And then if you take some of these groups, like the cheerleaders, I've been seeing photos all day of this, okay? Because I have a lot of people on my Facebook. Here on the Brooks Report Live, we have over 63,000 followers. On my own personal page, I have over 14,000. And then I have a group called We All Know Z in Lumberton that has over 15,000. And then I have another one that's over 35,000 members. So I see a lot of these things. And I feel like I have a good pulse on the community here when I say, look, you have these cheerleaders, right, that are going out there and they're taking their pictures in the front, in the parking lot, with like the school behind them. It still hasn't swayed their school spirit. Okay. It still hasn't swayed their school spirit, but they're going out there as a backdrop and trying to take these photos. Now, that being said, alternatives. Where can we go from there as far as an alternative? But let me get to some of these questions or these comments. I am a single parent with a graduate this year. I can't afford to pay someone to take photos of my daughter with her kindergarten diploma from Lumberton in her SR cap and gown. Crystal, that is exactly what I was talking about earlier. And that was the example that I was trying to use, because, and it's not just you, there's a lot of Crystal Joneses out there in the same boat that you are. Mandy Breeden says, that's exactly right. Thank you, Mandy, for commenting. Michelle Bailey Jackson says, I have no problem with it being closed to the public. It's charging our students that utilize that stadium $100 to take pictures. Did taking pictures tear up the stadium? Question mark. Regulate it, manage it, whatever you need to do, but don't make our students pay you $100. Take a picture on their field. So that's kind of I think that's a consensus right there. I don't know that this would have been as big of a blow if they would have said, hey, you know what? Stadium's closed. No more pictures except for on these 3 days. All you need to do is let us know you're coming. It's going to be from these time frames to this time frame. If you're part of the athletic department, cheerleading band, whatever, if you're involved in our school and you wear our school and you're part of our school spirit and help our school and that sort of thing, or whatever, and you have a Letterman jacket, or you're a member of this school, if you're a student, of this school, well, then, you know, by all means, come out and take a photo. We want you to have school spirit. Don't crush school spirit. Allow it to happen. I remember the days where we used to sit around and say, "Man, I wish we had the spirit of like a PNG, like an Indian, because you go over there, you're going to get spirit." It's not just the kids; it's people that've been out of school for 60 years and they're still going to high school football games. They're buying season tickets and they're riding up on their little golf carts that are purple and have Indians on them. Okay, and so, um, it's just, if we want that kind of spirit, well, we've got to encourage that and we've got to allow it to happen. You can't stun it over here and then expect it over there. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the way I feel about it. Kelly meant to encourage says, I agree. Mandy designated days. Yes, we agree. So Mandy Allen, they should open it up for approval. Excuse me here. They should open it up for approval for school organizations, football, cheer, etc. Put it in the request and keep it open with approval for that charge for the others. Well, I don't even know that I agree with you in charging for others, because just to say, just because somebody's not part of one of those organizations, if they're still a proud member, student here at Lumberton Raiders, I mean, if they want to go take a photo, I mean, it should be. But I agree, there are people that abuse it after hours and so on and so forth. I 110% agree that they should have not. They should not be allowed to just go out there and do whatever they want to do. That's not right. And like I said, a few people can ruin it for the rest of us. Let me get to a few more of these comments. David Cook, is there private funding? I'm not sure, David. We'll look into that. Crystal says they better not send home any fundraisers for my daughter to help with school. And, that's what I'm hearing a lot of too. People are wanting to pull back. When you start talking about, we just passed a multi-million-dollar bond. Okay. You have to have public's support for doing those kind of things. And when you do things like this, that makes it a hard sell, because you're like, you're asking me to do this, and then it's like you're taking away a benefit. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I just don't think that was the right move, or I think they went too far with it. And Mary Russell Beard says the stadium has always been a meeting place for our town as a whole. So that is the point of having. So what is the point of having one that's so expensive that the town as a whole can't use it? I'm not really sure I understand that fully, but I do know we have a really nice stadium and we're proud of it. Hence why a lot of people want to be there. And when people come, it's very nice. And really, you know, Lumberton being where it's situated, without having industry here, not the big funding of other schools, you know, it's we don't have a lot of the things donated and given to us that other schools might. Say like uh, a Houston type school or Dallas or those sort of things, because we just don't have the industry to support it here in Lumberton. Maddie says, I was just answering her question on what you were discussing. Thank you so much. So Marcy Daniel Simple says, saying the public trash the field is far reaching. You know, I'm glad you brought that up, because you have athletes that are going out there, and that stadium and that turf is built for cleats, heavy traffic, cleats, a lot of people. It is built for that. But you're telling me somebody that's walking out there, uh, a parent or a photographer walking out there with a few kids in tennis shoes, generally tennis shoes, um, laying down, someone laying down and taking pictures. I know a few years ago, um, where somebody, I think there was something similar to this happening. And I think what really got to people was, you had this employee, they said no more doing this and doing that. And then you had an employee of the district that went out there and was doing it because they had access to it. And that really rubbed people the wrong way and got under people's skin. And so, you know, we really, and it's going to be hard for folks. It's going to be a hard pill to swallow when you have somebody that's out there and you're saying all this, but yet they have access to it. And then you see them posting videos and TikTok videos on their own personal TikTok page and doing things, and they're, getting to roam free and do it as they want to. But then, it's a hard pill to swallow. And so we'll see about that. The athletes are the reason we have a nice track, turf, and field. Brian Thomas says, does any schools in the area have the same policy? Would be interested to see if there's any other schools doing this, and do they charge $100? I don't mind paying a fee for someone to come out, unlock the gates, monitor, but $100 is too steep. You're right, Brian. And from my understanding, is there's a lot of people that have a closed stadium, but they don't charge. They don't charge for this. They may open it up a few times, but there's no charge involved. Just from the small research that I've done. So, and I could be wrong, but if you guys are staying with me, we'll wrap this thing up. I don't know if you guys are into this or not, but this is something new for me. I've never just sit here and talk to you guys like this before. Not on the Brooks Report Live. I'm usually real quick, wham bam, or I'm doing an interview. I'm posting something else, but I've never sit here and just kind of chatted with you guys like this. And if it's something you're enjoying, I appreciate you letting me know that. If you don't like this and you think it sucks or whatever, and Adam, just go back to doing what you're doing, I'll do that. I'll go back into the hole. But I wanted to try this because I saw so much attention towards it for the wrong reasons. I saw attention going towards our school board members, and it wasn't their call. It was the direct call of the superintendent, of the admin. Okay, so just so we're clear on that, I want to be clear on that. This was not a school board decision. So let's see what this says. Ashley says, this may be extremely ignorant of me, but Lumberton is known as a more wealthy city. I know houses are far more expensive here than surrounding areas. Doesn't that mean our school taxes are higher than most around? I know we are not quite as large of a school, but we are quickly getting up there. How do we not have the funds to be able to keep our fields open to the public? Ashley, that's a great question, but what you have to understand is that whereas, most of our houses are 400, 300 plus, and there's a lot of wealthy per capita. The household median income per capita in Lumberton is higher than anywhere else in Southeast Texas. If that is still true, it's been a few years since I looked that up, but it used to be. But what you're missing there is we don't have a Total, we don't have an Invista, we do not have a Motiva, we do not have a hospital, we do not have a Christus, we do not have a Baptist, we do not have a Classic Chevrolet, we do not have a Doggett Ford, we do not have a mall, we do not have industry things that help with those taxes. So the tax revenue that we have is just coming from the people that live here. And although a lot of those people make pretty decent money, it's nothing compared to a Total, a BSF, OCI, an Invista, a Dow, or any of those things. It doesn't even scratch the surface for any of those industries. So our main industry is the school district, is Lumberton ISD. That is the only really source of economic, employment that we have here. And so besides a few boutiques and restaurants and that sort of thing, but that's really the cause of it. And I hope that helps you understand that a little better. Mandy says, I agree with your response to my comment, but seniors, for example, they have teacher sponsors or leaders. Those leaders should be able to request access to the field for senior pictures. If the ones that want to hire private photographers, etc., that are after hours and bringing animals, etc., I was just providing a solution. If you're a senior, then you're part of an organization, etc. Senior class sponsors should be able to ask for that time. Now you may not be able to bring your pet. Yeah, don't bring your pet out there. That's for sure. I think that's really that was the straw that broke the camel's back, if I'm not mistaken. And it's not the fact that they brought them; it's the fact that they didn't pick up after them. Okay. Michelle Jackson says, "Yes, it's part of our pride, and yes, we fundraise loot. My boy graduated last year, but let me tell you, if I was expected to pay an additional $100 to take his picture on the field this year, in my opinion." That is flat out disrespectful to him and us. Again, I am not concerned about the public as much, but please don't do this to our students. That summed it up really nice, Michelle. I couldn't agree with you more. Mandy says our children who spend countless hours on that field should have rights to take pictures and promote their Raider pride. Simple as that. Going on to Crystal, thank you, Adam. We appreciate everything you do. Well, thank you for watching and thank you for being a part of the Brooks Report Live. I wouldn't do it without you guys. Michelle Jackson says, I appreciate you doing this. Thank you for chiming in and helping out within the comments and being part of the Brooks Report Live. Danya says, Danya Wark, I hope I didn't butcher your name there. Definitely like you talking to us. We get to ask questions on the spot. This is nice talking back to a person instead of reading changes in an email. You help me make us a better community. Well, thank you so much, man. That's probably one of the nicest comments I've gotten. Thank you, Danya. Crystal says, so the school board didn't do this? No, they didn't do this, Crystal. The new superintendent just came in and done this. Oh boy, does he have a lot to learn. Sorry, that was funny. That caught me off guard. Well, I don't know. I mean, I know the school board didn't do this, and they hired the superintendent. The superintendent makes those admin decisions and those calls, and that's part of his role and his duty, and he has the ability to do those things. So, yeah. Christian Romero, who is very familiar with the school district and school board meetings, and I don't know that she's missed one. And she says, and the state doesn't help with the appraisals, which drive our funding from the state. Yes, they do. Martha Klein says, I have to say, being a transplant from the Dallas area and having industry, the stadiums are constantly updated. They do not have open policy for the public. They are only for sporting events. Martha, and doing my research today, getting ready for this, that's what I kind of learned as well. You know, it's not uncommon, really. We are just used to it. Okay, we are just used to being able to do it. It's not that it's an uncommon thing. It's just that it's new to us, and we have always been able to do it. And so, and that's kind of what we alluded to earlier. Ashley says, absolutely. Thank you. She is referring to the comment about the funding and that sort of thing in taxes. Kelly Minton Kirsch, me too, Adam, so much. Thank you for the clarification. Well, I don't know that there's any more comments, guys. I think I've ran out my welcome here with doing this, but I just wanted to chat with you guys and maybe bring in some clarity as far as where the decision came from. And hopefully I was able to do that in a respectful way. I was not trying to disrespect anybody or anything of that nature, but I thought some clarity was needed after reading some of those comments and seeing some of those posts on Facebook about, who was to blame. And I'm here to tell you, it wasn't our school board. It certainly wasn't the people, but it was, our new superintendent. That's part of his role and part of his duties. He's going to make changes. He's going to come in. He's going to make changes. And so that was one of them. And as unpopular as it is right now, as we just discussed, could it be altered a little bit? Could it, could some things be different about that decision? Absolutely. But is it uncommon as a whole for districts to do this? No, it's not. I think the charging of it is, but I could be wrong on that too. One more comment just popped up, so I'm going to get to it. Ashley says, I pay a lot of extra money now to get my son extra training 2 hours away from track, and we are really investing a lot into his athletic future. Due to not really having a proper pole vaulting coach, we don't really compare to a lot of the average Lumberton citizens and income. And so I find this a shame because $100 is a lot for us to be able to take photos of my son when we are already paying so much for outside coaching. We share your sentiment, Ashley, and like I said, your story and Crystal's story, that's common. It really is, and you're not alone out there. So hopefully some changes are made. And Jonathan says you have to start somewhere, plain and simple. So like I said, there are people with different opinions on this deal. And so, anyways, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to join me. I think I've been live now for about 35 minutes. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate you guys letting me sit here and talk to you like this. If you want to see me do this again, I ask that you share this broadcast, share it to your neighborhood group, share it to your groups, tag people that may be having interest in what we're discussing here today, and ask them to follow the Brush Report Live. If you want to see me do things like this again, I would appreciate you telling me so. If you think it sucked and I just need to go back to doing what I was doing, let me know that too. I'm a big boy and I can handle it. But I appreciate the ones that actually took the time to sit here and listen and get into the conversation with me. And so I really hope you guys stick around. Again, I think that can be altered as far as the decision made. I don't know that it's going to be. I'm nobody. But I did want to have that conversation with you guys. So anyways, my name is Adam C. Brooks, and I really appreciate you guys joining me here today, and we'll do this some more. I hope you guys have a good weekend. Stay safe. Start of school is coming up here in a few days, I believe Tuesday. So you know what that means. Traffic. And we've gotten through it before, and we'll get through it again. I can assure you that. The first week and a half, 2 weeks is crazy busy, but you know what? After that, generally it levels out. So just bear with the traffic. Prepare to leave work for a little earlier than normal. And again, thank you guys. My name is Adam Brooks with the Brooks Report Live. Feel free to follow us, invite your friends to follow us, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks so much.